Beloved beings of light, have you ever felt like you're doing everything right on your spiritual journey? Practicing meditation, seeking greater awareness, surrendering to mindfulness, and yet, something still seems to be blocking your deeper connection with your higher self? If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. Often, what prevents us from reaching the deepest levels of spirituality is not a lack of effort or dedication, but something very simple and essential: our breathing. Breathing, something that happens automatically and that we rarely pay attention to, may be interfering with our spiritual growth without us realizing it. While we can survive with unconscious breathing, the truth is that we cannot truly thrive this way. When our breathing is out of balance, it directly affects our energy, our mind, our emotions, and even our spiritual connection. The body enters a state of constant stress, the mind becomes scattered, and emotions become more difficult to handle. This creates an invisible barrier that prevents us from accessing the depths of our consciousness. One of the most common mistakes we encounter is shallow breathing. Many people breathe only into their chest without using their full lung capacity, and this becomes such an ingrained pattern that we don't even notice it. Have you ever stopped to observe how you breathe when you're nervous or focused? If you pay attention, you'll notice that your breathing often becomes faster and shallower. This happens because the body, when breathing only in the chest, sends signals to the nervous system as if it were on high alert, as if it were in constant danger, even when we are just sitting and relaxed. This type of shallow breathing activates our stress response, which means that even in moments of calm, we remain in a constant state of alert. This, in turn, directly affects our ability to meditate and connect deeply with our higher self. The body, even without realizing it, is always preparing for an emergency. And how can we access our spirituality if we are in a constant state of contraction? Spiritual awakening requires expansion, but when we breathe shallowly, we keep the body and mind in a contracted state. The good news is that this is an easy mistake to fix. The solution is to start practicing diaphragmatic breathing, also known as abdominal breathing. Instead of just expanding the chest when inhaling, you should allow the air to enter deeply and fill your belly, using the diaphragm to pull air into the lungs more fully and deeply. A simple way to start is by placing one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. As you inhale, feel your belly expand instead of your chest rising. As you exhale, allow your belly to retract gently. This simple technique can be practiced a few times a day. And over time, your body will start to reprogram itself to breathe more deeply and naturally. And what you'll notice is that it's not just your breathing that changes. Your overall sense of being, your energy levels, your emotional state, and your ability to connect spiritually will also begin to transform. Thus, you start unlocking a deeper level of peace, tranquility, and inner connection. And with that, you come closer to your true self. In the next video, we will explore other common breathing mistakes that may be interfering with your spiritual path and how to correct them to unlock even more of your potential. Stay tuned, because these simple yet powerful adjustments may be the key to a deeper and more fulfilling spiritual experience. Now that we've explored the importance of deep breathing, let's talk about another very common breathing mistake: unconsciously holding your breath. This happens to many of us, especially when we're focused on a task, whether working, reading, or even scrolling through social media. Have you ever been so immersed in something that you suddenly realize you're not breathing? This phenomenon is known as screen apnea, and it's more common than you think. When we are extremely focused, our body tends to hold the breath unconsciously, as if we are trying to pause in order to concentrate better on the task at hand. The problem with this habit is that when you hold your breath, Even for brief moments, you are signaling to your brain that something is wrong, as if you are in a dangerous situation. When the brain perceives this, it triggers a stress response, even though you are not physically in danger. This creates a continuous cycle of tension and anxiety in the body, something we often don't even notice, but that deeply affects our physical and mental health. Over time, the body starts getting used to this irregular breathing pattern. This generates a constant sense of stress, even in moments that should be calm. When this happens, it becomes increasingly difficult to relax, focus, or even enter a deep meditative state. You may feel anxious for no apparent reason, with a constantly restless mind, and this can greatly hinder your spiritual journey, making the connection with your higher self more distant. The good news is that the solution to this is simple: awareness. The first step is to start paying attention to your breathing throughout the day. Have you noticed moments when you are holding your breath? When you realize you're doing this, simply pause and take a slow, intentional breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly. This simple act of pausing and breathing consciously helps break the stress cycle and rebalances the body and mind. A great way to reinforce this throughout the day is by setting reminders on your phone to do a breathing check every hour. By making this habit conscious, the body will learn to breathe more consistently and naturally, which will help reduce stress levels and improve mental clarity. This simple change in how you breathe can have a profound impact on your ability to relax, meditate, and connect spiritually. And by doing so, you will be more balanced, more present, and more in tune with your inner self. Now that we've addressed shallow breathing and the habit of holding your breath, let's talk about another breathing mistake that may be blocking your spiritual journey: hyperventilation, or excessive breathing. Sometimes we believe that the more we breathe, the more oxygen our body receives, and consequently, the healthier and more energized we become. However, the truth is that overbreathing, or breathing too deeply, can actually disrupt the natural balance of gases in our body and affect our well-being. Hyperventilation is more common than we realize. When you breathe rapidly or excessively deeply, the body begins to lose the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, which can cause lightheadedness, dizziness, and even anxiety. This can happen without you noticing, especially in moments of stress or when trying to do it right in meditation, attempting to breathe deeper, thinking it will help reach deeper relaxation states. But the opposite happens. Too much air destabilizes us, making it harder to relax and enter a true meditative state. If you frequently sigh or take deep breaths without any apparent reason, or if your breathing speeds up even when at rest, you might be hyperventilating. The problem with hyperventilation is that it activates the nervous system inappropriately, often keeping the body in a constant state of alert rather than relaxation. This can block your ability to reach deeper states of consciousness and affect your mental clarity and emotional balance. The good news is that the solution is simple: controlled, slow breathing. A great technique to regulate your breath and avoid excessive air intake is the 4-4-6 method. Here's how it works. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then exhale gently through your mouth or nose for 6 seconds. This breathing pattern helps regulate your nervous system, balancing oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the body, allowing you to use air more efficiently. With regular practice, your breathing will become more balanced, more controlled, and as a result, your body and mind will also enter a more harmonious state. This helps reduce anxiety, improves mental clarity, and most importantly, allows you to enter deeper states of meditation and consciousness. Remember, the quality of your breathing is more important than the quantity, and controlled breathing is the key to unlocking deeper levels of inner peace. If this video helped you understand how breathing can affect your spiritual journey, share your experience in the comments below. What breathing mistake have you realized you've been making? How do you think improving your breath can transform your spiritual practice? Let's continue this journey together, always learning, always evolving.